Why are our stories free to read? And well, right now, stories technically means one story. Three Blade Will, our first free to read novelette from the Retinue of House Walker. But the question still matters because this is the model we want to build around future releases too. When I tell people that I don't currently plan to charge for our written stories, I usually end up giving a long winded explanation about accessibility and passive support, YouTube, website traffic, mailing lists, and what this project is supposed to become. And this video is that explanation in one place. Now, what is the Retinue of House Walker? And the Retinue of House Walker is our storytelling and Faire project. Broadly, it's us, some close friends and family, and the collection of creative things we're slowly building together. There's writing, there's historical fencing, Fair material, handmade props, leatherworking, jewelry making, watercolors, sewing, acting, cosplay, and whatever else ends up fitting under that banner. And most of it tends to land somewhere between the medieval and early modern eras for inspiration. Not because we're trying to build specifically a strict historical reenactment project, but because that's where a lot of our stories, costumes, swordplay, and performance ideas just kind of naturally live. So the Retinue is partly a fiction project, partly a performance project, partly a craft project, and partly an excuse to build a little creative world with people that we care about. But why are the stories free to read? Now, a core version of our written releases are intended to be free to read whenever possible. For Three Blade Will, that means the website PDF edition is free. You can go to the Retinue website, open the story, and read it without buying anything. That doesn't mean that there'll never be support versions or physical copies, illustrated editions, maybe some other formats later, but those might happen someday. But the basic written version's meant to stay low barrier to access. And the first step into that project should be open. Someone shouldn't have to gamble money on an unknown author, an unknown project, and an unknown story just to see whether the Retinue is for them or not. So the free version's not an accident, it's part of the model. And accessibility and format. Free access is partly about the price, but it's not only about the price, it's also about the format. For the free PDF version of Three Blade Will, we used Lexend as the main reading font. We specifically chose that because it's available for commercial use and is often recommended for digital readability. That includes readers who might benefit from a more clear text design because of ADHD, dyslexia, maybe just screen fatigue. But the goal wasn't to make a PDF that looked like an old printed book. The goal was to make it comfortable and easy to read on a screen with low barriers to access. And we're also planning a narrated version for YouTube, so when that's available, there'll also be a free audio version as well, in addition to the free written version. And that matters to us because people experience stories in different ways. Some people like reading, some people prefer listening, some people read better when they can also hear the words. Some people simply don't have the attention, time, or screen comfort to sit with a PDF. So access is about price, but it's also about format and attention and time and the different ways that people experience media. Anyway, I say stories, but maybe it's just story. And that's kind of a completely fair question. Stories or just story? Because right now, our complete catalog is one. Three Blade Will is a 12,000 word novelette that grew out of an idea that I had for a Ren Faire performance. It started as something I imagined we could maybe act out in scenes over the course of a day, and then that just kind of turned into this first written release. Now, I kept quiet until it was finished because I was honestly worried we might never get to the point where we could give it away. And I'm sure a lot of writers know that feeling. It's very easy to talk about a story you're writing. It's much harder to actually finish it, edit it, revise it, format it, then get into building a cover and exporting into the right formats and building web pages and the whole marketing behind an actual release. So I didn't want to promise a story before there actually was a story to give out. Now there is one. And there is a finished first release. I can be a little more open about what comes next. The next free to read story is already planned, has a complete outline. It's going to be in a similar setting, but a slightly different feel. I like the idea of writing stories and performance pieces that could also be acted out. So this next one has more of a murder mystery shape to it. When will it be done? That I don't know. Writing takes time, editing takes time, beta readers need time to read and provide feedback. Then you got to take that feedback and do a whole nother revision, edit again. Just everything takes time. And right now, I still have work to do preparing the narrated version of Three Blade Will. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. The first story's finished, the second story's underway. That's just gonna have to be enough for now. But how do we maintain this? The obvious problem is websites aren't free. Writing, recording, editing, filming, costuming, crafting, maybe even actually eventually performing, all of that takes time and resources and lots of times just straight up cash to pay for things. So how do we maintain a project where that first step is free? The answer is we are so slowly moving towards a passive support model. That means the project isn't built around requiring every reader to buy a book or every listener to pay for a subscription. Instead, the project grows when people interact with the content. Reading helps, sharing helps, watching our stories help, subscribing, commenting, join our mailing list, coming back for future releases. All of that helps. Someday, if the website has enough traffic, we might be able to explore occasional website advertising through something like Google AdSense. Someday, if the YouTube channel has enough subscribers and watch hours, we might be able to join their partner program. And then the videos themselves, like this, might help support future work. And that's the long term idea. Right now, each free written release, each narrated version, blog post, all those videos expand the work that we're offering. And with luck, that body of work will slowly grow our community and audience. And with enough audience interaction, that project might eventually support itself through attention and participation instead of requiring purchases or paid subscriptions. So, free access is the front door, but audience support is what we plan to help keep it open. But what if it never grows? And then we still had fun. We still made stories, still dressed up at Ren fairs and practiced fencing and got to make props and costumes, jewelry, all those weird little project pieces. All of those have a story behind them. And we still had an excuse to spend time with friends and family. My children love HEMA and historical fencing, partly because they really like the outfits better than Olympic style fencing. And that alone is honestly worth something. So the retinue never turns into anything larger. It's still a meaningful creative project. But if it does grow, Maybe the stories, the videos, the narrated versions, all of that can support more work over time. And that's what we're trying to find out. So now you might be asking, how can you support the project? And the best way to support the retinue right now is very simple. The best way to support is here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and keep watching our videos. That helps us work towards that subscriber and watch time threshold that could eventually lead to channel support in the future. The partner program will pay for more free stories, narrated versions, other project releases. If you haven't read Three Blade Will yet, the free PDF is linked in the description. That's already on our website. Go read the story. We wrote it to share with people. Then, if you enjoyed it or you think somebody who might enjoy it, share the link to the release page with them so they can also download and read the free version. If you want to be notified of our future release announcements, you can join our Substack mailing list. And we're on other social media, so you could follow along on TikTok or Blue Sky for shorter updates. That's where we do more of our behind the scenes work, Faire materials, some sword play, craft projects. But you don't have to buy anything to support the retinue. Every time you read something, watch something, share, comment, right now follows and subscriptions are huge. That all helps the project grow.